Welcome to Yoga Ground. I'm Maggie. I'm going to be guiding you through a 45-minute flow. I like to call this flow heart core. In today's practice, you can use a block, or if you don't have a block, you can grab yourself any towel. You can fold your towel into a rectangular shape and then just tightly roll your towel up so it's nice and firm. Let's go ahead and get started. When you're ready, come to lie on your back, but bring your prop with you. Yeah, if you want to spin around, that's perfect. And then I'll come on a side angle. So ideally, if you have a block, you're going to take that block and place that block right away in between your shoulder blades. And I'll turn for a moment to show you. So you can place the block long ways in between your shoulder blades or across the upper back. And of course, if you're using the towel, you can do the same thing. But really what you want to feel here is that lifting, that opening, that expansion of the upper back and chest. So take a moment to settle in. Now, the most accessible way for most people, especially at the end of the day, is to bend the knees. If it feels okay to extend the legs out straight, you can. Make sure that your hips are firmly anchored into the ground. The weight of your head is supported by the earth as well. Take a moment to extend your arms out by your sides and spin your hands, palms to face up. And as you start to arrive and surrender the weight of your body into the support beneath you, make any adjustments you need to, maybe changing the expression of the legs. You can always extend the legs out straight, or if you are a little bit more spacious in the low back and hips, you can bring the soles of your feet together. So after you choose an expression of the legs, go ahead and allow your eyes to flutter closed. And just take a few deep, slow breaths. On your next inhale, fill up your lungs completely and just hold the air in for a moment. Just sort of suspend in time and space. And then exhale all the air out until empty. Go ahead and place one hand on your belly and the other hand over your heart. And breathe a few deep breaths into the palms of your hands. And just observe if you can allow both hands, the chest and the belly, to rise at the same time. And just another breath or two here. Bringing your attention, your awareness to the heart. And your attention and awareness to the core. And then you can release your hands. Use some support of your forearms, your elbows. Maybe bend the knees before you start to rise up and out. You can simply press yourself up through center or roll to one side or the other. Go ahead and remove your block. Come to lie flat on your back. And hug your knees in towards your chest. A couple of circles each direction to massage the low back. And then rooting down through your feet, knees hip distance apart. Go ahead and grab your prop, your block, or your towel, and you're going to place it in between your knees. So somewhere in between the knees, in between the thighs, that feels a little less awkward than someplace else. So you might have to fine tune and sort of get it in the right place so that the inner thighs engage. I want you to feel the inner thighs engage and the outer hips wrap around. On your next inhale, go ahead and reach your arms up overhead. And then as you exhale, circle your arms out wide, down and around, and start to lift your chest. Hover above the ground for a moment. And then as you inhale, release, reach your arms back up. Circle your arms down and around. And as you exhale, low back presses into the earth, shoulders lift up. Again, inhale, arms up overhead. Big circle down and around. As you exhale, you rise. 3 more. Inhale. And exhale. Last 2. Big breath in. Big breath out. And last one. Now inhale, reach your arms up overhead. Just cross your right hand palm over the left. Maybe so you're holding the other opposite hand or crossing at the wrists. Just breathe into those shoulders. A common place we tend to hold lots of tension, lots of tightness. All right, you can keep the arms there, float them down by your sides. You're going to pick the feet up so that the shins are parallel to the ceiling. Now I want you to pay close attention to your low back. Your low back is pressing down, the core is engaged. The shins are more or less parallel to the ceiling. Now adjust the block as you need. Get that connection of the inner thighs, that wrap of the outer hips. The same movement here. So inhale, reach your arms up overhead if they're not already. And as you exhale, big circle, hover, squeeze and lift. Yes. Inhale, come down, big breath. Exhale, rise. Now, as you find some fluidity here, connection of breath to movement, make sure your low back stays connected down. Inhale. Exhale. Last 3. Last 2. And very last 1. Now place the feet back down, reach your arms up overhead. You can take the opposite hand on top, just clasping one hand in the other, crossing at the wrists. Breathe into the shoulders, the upper back. And then one more set here. We're going to extend the legs up towards the ceiling. So any adjustments you need to your prop, it can stay in between the knees or the thighs, or maybe even between your feet. The legs do not need to come all the way straight, but press the low back down. Arms up, big breath in. As you exhale, big circle to hover and squeeze. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Creating space, opening through the upper back, and that connection to the core. Last 3. Here we go. Big breath in. Hover and lift. Last 2. And very last 1. Release, place the feet down. and remove your block. Go ahead and place it to the side. If you like to windshield wiper the knees, right to left, go right ahead. Now, one more pose we're going to do here lying on our backs before we rise up. Go ahead and take your prop and place it underneath your hips. So just a low supported bridge pose. You can keep it super low, gently tractioning through the lumbar spine, or you can take the hips up a little bit higher. So make sure that this really feels nice and supportive. Maybe your arms are down by your sides, or feel free to reach them back up overhead. Maybe you can even grab for opposite elbows. And just a few breaths here. This should feel really nice, lengthening through the sides of your waist. And take one more full cycle of breath. And release it. Press down into the feet to lift the hips up. Gather those knees back in towards your chest. And when you're ready, you can cross at your ankles and start to rock and roll up and down. When that doesn't feel good, you simply roll to one side or the other and press yourself up. Then after a couple of times, or when you rise, we will step straight back to a downward facing dog. So finding your way to down dog. Thank you for spinning yourself around. Feel free to pedal through your feet, just walk in place. Press down through one heel, lift the opposite. And perhaps you like to gently shake out through the neck. Take your gaze side to side. And then a moment to arrive. Breathe your heels in the direction of the earth. Send your hips up and back. Nice long spine here. And then inhale, lift your heels, drop your knees, and find your way to a tabletop pose. So as you come into tabletop, just a quick moment to check in, pressing out of the shoulders, making sure you're not hanging in the joints, lengthening through the back of your body, through the low back that you just had connected to the earth. And then you can uncurl your toes and press into the tops of the feet. Now keep that connection to your center, navel in towards your spine, and start to extend your right leg back behind. Now flex your foot so your toes are pointing down and your heel is pointing up. And then start to become light on the left fingers and reach your left arm forward. Find your way into balance, lengthening, stretching, reaching like someone's pulling you forward, but you're resisting and you're pressing back. One more breath here. And then slowly release, set it down. Right away, switch sides. Send the left leg up and back. Flex your foot, toes down, heel up. Connection to the low belly, navel in towards your spine, low back long. Send your right arm forward. So one straight line here, reaching physically and energetically through the fingertips to the heel. And release it. When you come back to tabletop, curl all 10 toes in and under. Now very gently find an arch to your spine, cow pose. And as you exhale, I want you to hover your knees above the ground. So not too high, just a few centimeters. Lengthen into the low back, press up and out of the shoulders. Maybe even take your gaze back towards your knees. And then with your next inhale, set the knees down, open up through the heart, maybe even send your gaze up towards the ceiling. A little bit more fluidly now. Exhale, rounding, hovering, lifting. Knees come up. And then place the knees down, big breath in. Exhale, big breath out. Inhale. Exhale. One more time here, big breath in. Exhale out and hold. So we just stabilize here through our centers, cultivating a little bit of heat from the inside out. Just a few more breaths, hugging the muscle to bone. Embrace that tremble, that vibration, that shake. And release it. Knees come down, uncurl the toes, hips back for the heels, child's pose. Walk your hands forward to extend. Breathe into the sides of your waist. And then start to walk your hands up and over to the right. And then you can send your hips a little bit towards the left. And then come back through center to the other side. Fingers come to the left, hips can move to the right. And release back to center. Rise up through tabletop, send your hips up and back, downward facing dog. So we've already been here before, but feel free to take a moment to pedal through the feet. Gentle shake of your head if that feels nice. And then again, you move your way towards stillness. You breathe the heels towards the earth. And just like we did in tabletop, send your right leg up and back, three-leg dog. Heel up, toes down. Now have fun here for a moment. Just play, challenge yourself, and see what happens when you come high on the left fingers. Maybe you can hover the left hand above the ground. Maybe you can reach the leg and arm just a little higher. And release it. Not easy to do. Go ahead and switch. Send your left leg up and back. Heel up, toes down. When you're ready, step by step, high on the fingers. Maybe you hover the hand. Maybe you lift and reach. Maybe you fall out. And release. All right, slowly walk your way to the top of your mat. When you get there, halfway lift, lengthen through the spine. And then exhale, fold. Grab for opposite elbows. Shake it off. Just let the weight of your head go. And then releasing your arms, root through the feet, roll to rise. Head's gonna come up last. Once the head comes up, breathe your arms out and up. Right wrist in front of the left. You can even make a fist and you're gonna just pull back. Breathe into the shoulders. And release it, takes the arms down. And then again, arms out and up. Switch. Opposite hand in front, you can make a fist. Pull. And release it, hands to heart, Tadasana. All right, we're gonna move through a Surya Namaskar. And to begin, you're going to take your right knee in towards your nose. And as you do, you're just gonna send your arms back. So a moment to find balance, to draw your heart towards your core. And then release, hands to heart, stand tall, Tadasana. Simply switch. Left knee towards your nose, arms reach back, round in, and release. Hands to heart. Maybe a little soft bend to the knees as you circle your arms and reach. And exhale, fold forward and down. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, high plank. Hold here for the inhale. Cultivate that strength from the inside out. Now in this first round, drop your knees. Keep that length in your spine. Bend your elbows. Come all the way down onto the belly. Now uncurl the toes. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, lower down. We're going to come back up the same way we came down. Curl the toes. Press up. And then send the hips back, down dog. Move right into a place of stillness. Take a cycle of breath. And then on your next inhale, top of the mat. You can walk, you can step, you can eventually float. On your inhale, we rise up, reach, and hands back to heart center. Now the left knee leads. Knee in towards the nose, round in, reach back. Tadasana, hands to heart. Switch sides, right knee in and up. Hands to heart. Maybe a little wave through the spine as you reach up. And exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, high plank. Hold here, take an inhale. With or without the knees, bend your elbows. Back to cobra or upward facing dog. Now we return to that push up, that chaturanga. We rise up, high plank, and we meet back downward facing dog. Full cycle of breath here. On your next inhale, walk, step, or float, halfway lift, and fold. Rooting through the feet to rise up, reach your arms, and hands together, heart center. Right knee in towards the nose, arms reach back. Tadasana, hands to heart. Switch, left knee in. Both arms out and up. And fold all the way down. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, high plank. Hold for the inhale. With that strength and control on the exhale, you lower. Open up through the heart. Moving back the way you came in. Pressing up and back. Yeah, just changing it up a little bit. So breaking some habits, exploring something new. And then on your inhale, right leg up and back. So back to that 3-leg dog. Hips are squared, toes down, heel up. One more breath. And then on your exhale, knee to nose, round your back, walk or step the foot forward, lunge. When you arrive in your lunge, we reach the arms up and your right arm comes in front of the left. Again, you can make that fist to really use some arm strength here to pull. Release your arms back and down, interlace all 10 fingers. Stay forward and just round into the upper back. So we're not opening the hips here. Chin to chest, coil in, explore the back of the heart, and release. Hands come down, step back, down dog. From down dog, walk, step, or float, top of the mat, halfway lift, and fold. Root through the feet, rise up, reach. Hands together, heart center. Left knee in. Round. Return to Tadasana. And switch. To Tadasana. Both arms out and up. Exhale, fold forward and down. Halfway lift. Exhale, high plank. Hold for the inhale. Strength and control on the exhale. You lower. You open up through the chest. Coming back to that push-up. We rise and release down dog. Moment here. Then we send the left leg up and back, 3-leg dog, square those hips. And then we round in knee to nose. Create that space to walk or step the foot forward. And then as you rise, high lunge, left hand can come in front of the right. Maybe make that fist. Pull. And release, interlace and clasp. Stay forward and just round over your left thigh. Chin to chest. Lift the back of the heart. Release, hands down. Downward facing dog. On your inhale, walk, step, or float. Top of the mat. And fold. Root through the feet, rise up. Hands to heart center. Right knee in. Coming to Tadasana. To the left. To Tadasana. Both arms out and up. And fold forward and down. Inhale, halfway lift. High to low. Take it slow. Moving with integrity. Moving from your center. So find that expansion through that space around the heart. And then the connection to the core. Press up. Release back. And then right leg comes up and back, 3-leg dog. Exhale, knee to nose. Make the space to walk, step, and arrive forward. High lunge, right arm in front of the left. Pull. Interlace and clasp all 10 fingers behind. Rounding in. And then this time, release your hands. They're going to frame the foot. You're going to drop your back knee down. As you drop your back knee down, uncurl your back toes and send the hips back, stretching out through the hamstring. Now you can always bring the hands under the shoulders or onto the thigh. A little bit more stability in case you're a little wobbly. But try not to press down too much. Flex the toes, engage the quadricep, hug into the hips. And release it. Hands come down, bend the knee. Send your right arm up. So just a little moment to revolve. To breathe. Some expansion here through the collarbones. And release. Go ahead and root down through the hand. Step yourself back, down dog. And then from down dog, walk, step, or float. Top of the mat. And release. Rise all the way up to stand. Hands to heart. Left knee in. Hands to heart. Right knee in, rounding into the back. Hands to heart. Both arms out and up. And we fold forward and down. Inhale. Exhale, high to low. Move slow. Big breath in and out. We rise and release down dog. We send the left leg up and back. Exhale, knee to nose, walk, step, arrive, lunge. We rise up, left hand in front of the right, pull, release and clasp, and round in. Back of the heart up towards the ceiling. Navel draws in and up. Release, hands are going to come down and frame the left foot, and then you drop the right knee. Slowly send the hips back. Ardha Hanumanasana here. The left heel wants to move forward, but you're going to hug it back. Square those hips. Breathe into the hamstring. And then you make any adjustments you need to the hands. Let's take another breath. Slow and steady, release it. We revolve, we take the left arm up. Gently press down into the right hand. Imagine you could touch the ceiling. And then release it. Stepping back to downward facing dog. And then from here, we're going to find our way right back into our plank pose. So we're going to stay rooted through the hands, long through the spine, and all you're going to do is tick-tock your heels to the right, back through center and to the left. And then back through center to the right, back through center to the left. One more time to the right, one more time to the left. Back through center with or without your knees. You come all the way down onto your belly. Now widen your hands. Maybe you even stay high in your fingers. Yes. Uncurl those toes, lift your chest. Look over your right shoulder. Maybe you can see your left heel. And release it, come back through center, lower down. On your next inhale, rise up. We look over the left, maybe you see the right. And come back down through center. Now slide forward onto your forearms. I'm going to scoop myself back a little bit. So make any adjustments you need to. Make sure that it's your elbows that are under your shoulders. Maybe a little wiggle of the hips here to release any tension in the low back. And then I want you to imagine that you could slide your arms back. You'll even notice as you do this, you could sort of slide this over the skin. So the skin to bone here, you slide the arms back and you traction the heart forward. And then you can press down through the tops of your feet. Maybe your kneecaps will even lift. Now pay close attention to your low back. So the low back stays long. Press up and out of the shoulders. You can gaze forward. Only gaze up if that really feels good in your neck. Now one more breath right here, Sphinx pose. Now you can soften your Sphinx a little bit without collapsing. Yeah. So just soften into it. Maybe you release that traction of the hands back. Now you're going to curl your toes in and under. You're going to inhale here to lengthen, to lift the heart. And as you exhale, your knees stay down, but you just lift your hips up. And in this action, you should feel your low belly engage your navel towards your spine. Now inhale, release it. Expand, open to Sphinx. Exhale. You can think like low back, rounding, mid back, lifting, core engaging. And release. Inhale, heart. Exhale, core. 3 more. Inhale. Exhale. Last 2. And very last 1. And release it. Now, invitation here to uncurl your toes, to pivot on your elbows so your hands are wide. Easy does it here, finding seal. You can press into the hands and start to lift the chest. When and if it's too much, you slide the hands out and you lower down. And when you can find a little bit more opening, you can walk the hands back. Lengthen through the sacrum. Take a big breath in. And then slowly release on the breath out. Hands can come under your shoulders. Press yourself up and back. We will return to child's. You can widen the knees so that the belly and the rib cage find space to just sort of let go. Maybe a moment to walk your fingertips forward. Traction through the side waist. And let it go. And on your next inhale, slowly start to rise up and out. You can find your way into your last downward facing dog here. As you find your way to down dog, take a soft bend to the knees. Gaze forward, and you can walk, step, or hop to come and sit. Transitioning however you like, bringing the soles of your feet together. Holding on to, maybe it's the toes, maybe it's the ankles, the shins. And again, using that connection to lengthen up through your spine. Any little movements you need to make to find that length, to drop the shoulders down. Maybe to close your eyes. Take one more breath right here. And then flutter your eyes open. Use your hands to draw the knees together. And then we're going to come into staggered seat, Z seat, sometimes known as deer. You're going to move your feet to the left and your knees to the right. So just a simple staggered seat position. We're going to come into one more core connecting, heart opening pose. So at first, let's just take the left hand across. Left hand can come to the right thigh. Simple twist here, gazing back over the right shoulder. Now, this is a wonderful place to just remain. Or if you want to explore this expansion, you're going to root down through the right hand which is behind you. You're going to use a little bit of leverage from the left hand, and you're going to come up onto the shins. You're going to start to lift your belly, your rib cage, your heart. And you can reach back any degree that feels good in a variation here of Ustrasana, camel pose. And slowly come out. Return to sit. And then hands back, feet forward. Again, windshield wiper those knees. So just side to side. And we'll do the same thing on the other side. So when you're ready, knees to the left, feet are going to come to the right. And taking your right hand across, just gently twisting here. And then using the left hand for support back behind, leverage from the right arm to rise onto the shins, to lift your hips up, to find your back bend of the day. Slowly release. Hands back, feet forward, knees bent. You can windshield wiper once again. You can come into a seated seat pose, just giving yourself a nice big hug, maybe forehead towards your knees. And then preparing once again to come and lie on your back. As you come to lie on your back, bring your prop with you one last time. So as you come to lie down, you can bend your knees, maybe windshield wiper once again to just release any tension that might have built in the low back. Just let it go. Now you're going to take your prop, whether it's that rolled up towel or your block, and you're going to place it in front of your knees. You're going to gather your knees in towards your chest, and you're going to place your elbows on the blocker prop. Yes, you can bring prayer hands to forehead to help you stay focused. Low back is pressing down. This is the last bit of core work we do before final stretch and rest. Press your elbows into the block. Press your knees into the block. Hold. And then see if you can extend your right leg out. Hover the heel above the ground. Yes. Now draw it back in. Now switch. Low back presses down. Extend your left leg out. Draw the left knee in. 2 more each side. Right leg extends. Right leg gathers in. Left. To center. Last cycle each side. Extend the right. And extend the left. Release it. Letting go of your prop. Windshield wiper the knees to a point where you can eventually drop your knees all the way down to the right side. Big circle of your arms out and up overhead, crossing at the wrists or grabbing for opposite elbows. One more deep breath here. Coming back through center and switch. Knees to the left. And then back to center. Letting your arms go, allowing the arms to rest by your sides, extending the legs out beneath you for final rest, Savasana. Often when I come into final rest, I meet a little bit of resistance. Perhaps you do too. What I find really helps is to turn the toes in and out a couple of times. Just rock on your heels. Allow the toes to simply splay open. Release the hip joints. Wiggle your fingers. Draw the fingers in and out to make fists and release. Fists and release. And then just let the hands soften. And then a moment to rock your head side to side. And bringing your head to center, allow your eyes to close. Fully surrendering here the weight of your body into that gravitational pull. And just let the ground hold you up. So you technically have about another minute of your practice, final rest. Of course, if you have the luxury of time and you can stay here a bit longer, please do so. My pleasure to guide you through your practice as always. Have a beautiful evening. Namaste.